This is the rebuild video of the KTM SX 2012. Parts have come, but that one I'll give the lad the wrong part number. That's the cog I need. I've sent that in. See on there, it's all stretched and that, but he's just said to use it, so I'll just use it. And that's the proper one. So it's my mistake this. So there's the broken one. I'm just going to put that on there now. So slide that off. You've got that cog. I'm going anyway. Got that cog. Goes on that way with them dogs facing that way, because they can lock with them. And I'm going to take this ring off here. So we'll just pull that snap ring off there now. It's out the groove. There's the broken slider cog. So we'll put that one on. That's that on. Once we've got that one on, put this ring back on. Starts with that groove there. Then it just slides down there into the groove. We've got that cog. Goes on that way. So them dogs line up with them dogs, like I've just said. Put that on. Got that cog. Goes on anyway. Remember, there's a big washer. There's a big washer on the end of that one as well. It's just the same. Just remember that. So that's the gearbox. Take that rubber seal off there. So now we're going to push the gearbox into the casings. Goes in that way. Just watch when you pick it up, because there's a washer on that side. And there's a washer on there. What drop off. I've already lubed in there and in there. So I'm just going to push this in. It's best to keep this up just so that washer there and that shaft doesn't drop out. Just push that in. That's the gearbox in. Jamming there backwards and forwards, but once I put the forks in and it straightens all these cogs up, this should just spin freely. So we'll get the selector forks in now. So now we're going to fit the selector forks. This is what they look like. These are the two big ones. They look like that. This one goes in the top into that runner there. So that one goes into that runner. I've got this one, it's looking like that. See, goes down into that bottom runner there. So that side should be looking like that. Select the fork. I'm going to go on one way. It fits into that slider there. Slide it in anyway. Then we'll get the little pins, put them in there, and then select the forks. Then I can put the drum in, and then just push the forks over into the drum. That's the good thing about these. You push them over, and then push the bar in, because some forks are hard to get in on some bikes. So we'll put them into each selector fork, get the selector drum in. Get the two bars in, the guide rods for the selector forks. And that's the selector drum. One of the pins of the fork goes in that runner. One goes in the middle runner. This one isn't used. You see how it's got a hole in. And the top runner goes into that one. Slide that in. And get your little stud and push that one into there and get into the middle runner. That's the 3 little studs into the thingy. This may might be better to put it on. Lift that one up, push the stopper through into the middle runner, which is there, if you can see. It's going into the middle runner now. That one there. Push the pin in. So that's that one in. And we've got them 2 pins in. Got them pins in them. Select the forks there. Push them into the grooves now. And that's that pin in there. If you can see it. The pins went right through into the bottom groove. That's the pin. When you put this on, it's like that. It's like that, I mean. And then when you line it up with the groove on the selector drum, you push that through so it sits flush. So it's like that, and that fits into the selector drum. So this is the top one. Get this one on now. So you just put it on like that, then slide that over. This one goes in the top runner of the selector drum. So just you'll be able to see this one going over. Try it, see if I can get on camera. Just push it over there. You can see the stud coming out. You push that stud there so it's all flush. So the 2 guide bars can drop down there now. That's in there. They've both got springs in each side. One is longer than the other. The long one goes on that side and the short one goes on that side. Just got to put a bit of grease on each one just to keep them in place. And we'll slot them in. And I'll lube them up as well. And just grease them like that. The top end's smaller than the bottom. The big end here, which is that, goes in first. So that's in there. And we'll grease this one up. It'll go in that way with the little end pointing out. So that's the short bar, the 2, all lubed up. That's the longer one. All lubed up, grease on each end of the springs to keep them in. And we'll just slide that into there now. That's that one in. Do the same on the other end. Just grease them 2 up, get them in the end, lube this and push this in. Just slide that one in, slide straight through that hole there, through both forks. That's the gearbox now all lined up with all the forks, keeping all the cogs in places. Like I said before, it would only go like that. Goes does that on, you put the forks and keeps everything in place, but at least everything's spinning. Get the gasket around the middle now. Just make sure the dowels is in. I think there's only 2 on this engine. It's that one and this one. We'll put the gasket round now. Get that nut off the crank. Push that casing on now. I'll get the gasket on. So I'll get the gasket. That's the gasket. We'll just drop it on. Now we can get the top off on. There's the top off now. I did put all the bearings and everything in this while I was waiting for all the bits coming. I haven't put the crank seal in yet. So that's the crank seal in, front sprocket seal in, the gear shaft seal in. I'll Just gonna lube in here, push this case down. I'll lube all around these as well. Lube in there, because that bit there slots into the top of there. Just everything slides in nicely. As far as it'll go so far. I'll probably have to get the crank puller on it, but I'll be leaving a gap before I put the screws through. I'm not just going to shut it properly, because some of the holes on this gasket, some of them are off, so I'm going to have to make sure that the bolts going through there into the gasket, because if I just shut that case and put bolts through, I'm going to miss them holes and rip the gasket. I've just had the crank puller on it and pulled the crank. So it's pushed that casing down, but it didn't push it all the way down. Like I said before, you see a gap, so see all the bolts going into the casings. Anyway, if you watch me other video, that's the bolts. Anyway, we'll get them in. Just make sure that they go through the gasket like that on all of them, all the way around. That's what I was meaning. So I'm going to do that now. It's all the bolts in now. If you do it this way, what you can do when you've put them all in, you just go around them all, lift your gasket on every single hole. Lift your gasket. And there, lift that one. So now when you get like that, you need a rubber mallet it. I'll get the crank puller on again and push that casing down. Don't tighten these screws up to nip the case together. Leave a rubber mallet it. Get the crank pusher on, push it down. Then we'll tighten all these screws up. That's all the bolts in now. You've got to do them in a sequence. You've got to put all the bolts in. And you've got to leave those ones to last. Tighten these up. It's so complicated, it was on the instructions. You've got to tighten these ones up, but not proper tight. Nip them ones down. Tighten these top or whatever it's hard to do in these. And then tighten them four down, then crisscross pattern on these ones. But I've done it all properly, just it was on my phone. I cannot remember how to replicate it. Right, so we're going to put the Kickstart collar in now that all the bolts are in. So get the new O-ring, just push that on. Grease it up as well, I've greased it up. Then you've got your bush, which looks like that. It's got that, see on the top bit, I don't know what the word is to describe it, but it goes down like that. You see on that it's just a flat end. That end is like, I don't know the word, but it's like, the rubber ring fits over that anyway, it goes in that way. So just lube all this up, inside and out, and that just slides on, just pushes in like that. And you've got your front sprocket, that bit faces the engine, so it goes on like that. And we've got the circlip, and we'll just put that circlip on. The gears might be alright with that cog what I left in. It's spinning alright. Now we'll put the reeds on right on this side as well. Just put that big gasket off there. So we've got the reeds. All these back on. Put a new gasket on as well. Just take that one off. Clean all that surface where the gasket's going. Just don't know air leaks getting sucked in here. And I checked these on the teardown video. These reeds are alright, so I'm going to check them again. There's the new reed gasket. Just pop that on. Doesn't matter which way it goes on. It'll only go one way anyway. It's a bit short. These are racing reeds, so I always have to cut a bit out of there. Just measure it up against the old one. Just have to cut a little bit, cut a couple of mil off the black bit there. That's the gasket all cut now. I've just cut two 2mm strips off each end. It all fits now. So let's get these on. That's all them in now, missing the gaskets, taking them up. Get that blocked up now. Get the crank area blocked up as well when we're on. Just take them up now. Now we're done on this side. The reeds is on with a new gasket. So we're going to start on this side now. I'm going to fix the shift drum tensioner. The end of the shift drum. Just been looking about and just found that it's nothing, it's just where the kickstart hasn't been set up properly. But anyway, I'm going to get that on now. So put this on now for the gear shaft drum. That's the way the spring goes. That bit spring sits in between these two bits. Just put a bit of Loctite on there. Put some Loctite on there. That spring in between the two notches. I'll get that tightened up. Now we can put the back end of the selector drum on. It only goes on one way. You can see that bottom bit. It's fatter than that bottom bit. There's neutral as well. See, all those have got points on. Anyway, you can see that's the thin bit, that's the fat bit. And there's the thin bit at the bottom, there's the fat bit. So it just slides on that way. Just push that down. That's a neutral now. That's neutral there. With the circle lining up with the notches. That's how we'll work on it from now. The circle's lining up, all the others have got points on the end. The gears, this one with the circle. What lines up the circle on this is neutral. So we're gonna thread lock this one. Get this one in here. Now we'll put the gear shaft on. You'll have a washer like that. Show me that goes on there. Just check all your. I checked all this on when I stripped it down. Slide it on. Lube this. I've just lubed the seal. What I put in before. Lubed in the inside of the seal. There's a sliding through. These two little notches here on this spring go over them two notches there. It clips on and just pushes in. Pull that back. Slide it in and that's it on like that. That's all that on now. Is that cleared? So that's that on tightened up. Now we're going to put that cog on, just out, just do it round there, goes on that way, and you've got a washer, just lube that, goes in there, then you've got a circlip, just put that in. Now we'll put the primary drive in as well. So we've got that nut. We've got an O-ring comes off. Put a new one in. This is one on that set. Then you've got the washer. And the woodruff key goes in there. Into that groove there. That's the woodruff key there. So we're going to get the woodruff key in the end of the crank. Now first put the rubber seal on the new O-ring. Already looped it up. For a big washer like that, put that on next. So we've got the woodruff key in now. Just there. Just see it there. Now we're gonna put this primary drive cog on with the washer, and the nut is looped all around there, around the inside of the seal, all around here, all inside there. That's it. Remember, it's hard to get off as well, this. That's that on. Now just lube that washer up. Just put that bolt on. Tighten that up later. Next, it's going to be the Kickstart Shaft. Fit the two locking plates over there. And the clutch basket. We'll get the Kickstart on now. And now just before I fit the Kickstart in, go through the gears, because it's still have that dodgy third gear idle cog, but I did file some of the sharp edges off, like some of the teeth were stretched with a bigger gap in there, so it just might be noisy in third gear. But anyway, go through the gears. That's neutral there. See the circle, as I pointed out in every video. There's the points on the gears. That's all good points. Anyway, that circle on this is a neutral there. That's the best way to work on a bike. When you put them together and you put this on, put this drum so that circle's fitting that part of the drum, the neutral. Anyway, right. First, let's move back. Move back from neutral. Keep it there. That's first. Went up all the gears all right. So that's 6 now. You can see here there's neutral. So we'll go back down. So that's 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. That's 1st, look. Can't go anymore. Slide it up a tiny bit. You can see neutral there. Slide it a tiny bit there. That's neutral. So my gearbox is alright. So now we're going to fit the Kickstart shaft you've got a plate like that, you've got your stopper plate like that, which is bent like that. I'm going to put a bit Loctite on them too. That one just goes behind it like that. So that's the two bolts in with the Loctite, that's the plate behind it. This is the stopper on the front, so I'm just going to tighten them up now. Now I'm going to fit the shaft. You've got your little circle there, what the spring goes into. To line that up, normally they've got a mark on them, and that mark lines up with the circle. That one there near my thumb. But on these, you've got to have your circle there, and that mark there on the bottom has got to be 180 degrees round from that top mark here. So there's the circle, there's the mark. It's as close as you can get it to 180 degrees. You've got to have that little washer as well. Little washer goes in there. Then you get your spring. Put the spring into the circle in this shaft. And that little notch there fits over the spring in the shaft to keep it in place. Just push it in. And then pull this spring all the way around into that little hole there. Just keep that spring back. And that just goes into that hole there, that spring. Now put the clutch on, got that collar on, goes on here first. Some clutches have a washer. Always when you take your clutch basket off, always check, and there's sometimes a big washer on there. This one hasn't. Anyway, put that collar on, I've moved it up. It's on. I've got M2 bearings, I've moved them up. I'm just putting the basket on because I need it to put a penny in between the teeth to tighten that up and to tighten the flywheel up instead of locking something through the conrod to keep everything tight. Just slide the clutch basket on now. Just in the bottom. Penny out. Everything moving alright. It's just the best way to do it. There's a lot of penny in there to get this nut and the nut off the other side of the crank, because some people put stuff through there and these nuts is on tight, so when you're tightening that up and they're putting something through there onto here, when that's this nut's getting pulled back tight down, it's pulling down on your rod bearing, so you're putting tension on your rod bearing. So anyway, now that's tight, I'll go to this side now. I'm going to put the penny in the same place as well, and the two cogs I've just had it in, just to lock the flywheel up. I'm going to put the stator on first, but not tighten it up. And you're going to tighten the flywheel up because the stator needs to move. And set the timing. Get that free. So now I'm going to put the stator on just before we lock the flywheel. Comes on like that. I'll just get the 3 bolts and we'll put them in there loosely. We'll just tighten these up, but leave them slack so this stator plate can still move about. Still one like that, so you can still move it and set it. Now, get your flywheel. Got the woodruff key there for the flywheel. Just see it there in the crank. Just going to slot the flywheel over that. That's it, slot it on. The spring washer. Big nut for the flywheel. Now to tighten this up, like I said before, all the other videos, we're going to put the penny into there to lock the crank that way. So we've got the penny on that side, keeping it tight. Make sure you get this on tight. That's the flywheel on. And we'll still move the stator when we're going to set the timing. So now we can put the outer clutch casing on. I'm going to pop the Kickstart seal out and put a new one in. I already replaced the water pump seal in the last video, so we'll get that seal done now. So I'm just going to put the gasket on. Just put the new oil seal, the new Kickstart shaft seal on and lubed inside it. So just going to slide this on and all the way. And get the bolts. So I've got one of them again when I stripped it. I'm just going to take them bolts out and put the bolts into there, copy off this. Now we put the clutch basket in, tighten all the bolts up round here. Got a black washer, I've already put it on. So this black washer here goes on first. Doesn't matter which way it goes on, just put that on. Slide the clutch basket on. That's the clutch basket on. That'll be the end of this video. The bottom end's done. Just to tighten that, I'll have to have the engine in the bike with the chain on in gear to lock that. I don't know if you can lock it by the crank. No, you can't. But I haven't got the clutch tool what goes in there for the KTM. I would have just been able to tighten it that way. But anyway, thanks for watching. Next video I'll be putting the barrel head on, because you've got to put the barrel head on to set the stator, which is still slack, then the engine into the bike and the bike started, first start. Alright, thanks for watching.